Okay, imagine this. You step off a ferry, right? Not just onto another gorgeous Greek island, but maybe into a local kitchen. And there's a yaya, a Greek grandmother, actually showing you, hands-on, her secret for the perfect moussaka.
Mm-hmm.
Or picture joining a group, maybe helping clean up a really beautiful, secluded beach. You're making a difference, but you're also soaking in that incredible Asian sun.
Yeah, it's not just passive observation anymore.
Exactly. This isn't just standard travel. It's something deeper, more personal, an immersion.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're exploring something really interesting, this idea of experiential tourism,
Right.
and specifically how it's really taking off, particularly on the smaller, captivating islands of Greece.
It's a fascinating shift.
Our insights today, they come from a great article by Fotis Pantopoulos over at Travel Daily News Greece and Cyprus. And we've also pulled in a bunch of recent news items from the same place, which kind of paint a wider picture of what's happening in Greek tourism overall.
Yeah, it gives us a good context. So our mission for you, our listener, is to really unpack what this experiential tourism thing actually is. Why is Greece, especially these islands, such a perfect stage for it?
Yeah.
And what do the latest developments tell us about where travel is heading in this amazing country, so rich in history and just stunningly beautiful?
Okay.
Okay, let's really get into it.
So what's really striking is how Pantopoulos defines it. Experiential tourism, he says, it's all about actively engaging travelers, getting them involved in local culture, local environmental experiences.
Right.
And that's fundamentally different from traditional mass tourism, isn't it? Which often focuses more on, quick sightseeing stops and big infrastructure projects that can sometimes feel a bit generic.
Yeah, ticking off the list versus really connecting. So it's not just about seeing the sites, but actually living them in some way.
Precisely.
And the sources really stress that a core part of this whole approach is sustainability. It's about creating tourism practices that actively involve the local community and, crucially, protect the local heritage and ecosystems.
Absolutely. It's this idea of giving back, of connecting on a deeper level while you're visiting, rather than just sort of consuming a place.
That makes a lot of sense. And, when you think about it, the small Greek islands seem like the perfect place for this.
They really are. They have this unique charm, right? Each one has its own distinct character, often a very well-preserved traditional way of life. And to genuinely get that, to really feel it, you kind of need to spend time with the locals, immerse yourself properly in the culture. You can't just breeze through.
Right, you won't capture the essence from, like, the window of a tour bus.
Exactly. This allows for a much more authentic kind of interaction.
Okay, so if that's the idea, what does it actually look like on the ground? The sources give some really vivid examples of what travelers are starting to do. Maybe we start with something everyone loves.
Good.
Food, culinary adventures.
Oh, definitely. And this is way beyond just eating out at a taverna, though that's great too.
Sure.
Think about participating in actual cooking classes, learning to make traditional Greek dishes, maybe using ingredients you helped gather.
Oh, wow.
Or visiting local farmers markets, maybe small wineries. You learn about how things are produced right there, and you taste these amazing regional specialties. It becomes a whole sensory journey, connecting you directly to the land, the producers, the people.
That sounds incredible. And it's not just food, obviously. Greece has this immense cultural and historical draw, but that's evolving too, right? It's not just passively looking at ruins anymore.
No, exactly. We're talking about taking guided tours, yes, of ancient sites, museums, historical monuments. That's still important.
Of course.
But also opportunities to actually participate in vibrant local festivals, with the traditional music, the dancing, the food.
Imagine learning a local dance in a village square, not just watching a performance from the sidelines.
That's it. It's a completely different level of engagement, isn't it?
Totally. And what about nature? Greece's landscapes are just breathtaking. How does experiential tourism connect you more deeply there?
Well, the article mentions things like hiking beautiful trails, maybe kayaking along these pristine coastlines, or even joining wildlife observation tours looking for dolphins, sea turtles.
Okay.
But what really stands out is the idea of active involvement in things like clean sea preservation actions.
Ah, so conservation tourism.
Kind of, yeah, think about it. You're turning part of your holiday into a tangible contribution to the very environment you're there to enjoy. It shifts the traveler from just being an observer to being a participant. It fosters this sense of ownership and care.
That's powerful. And that really flows into the community engagement aspect, doesn't it? Focusing on those real personal connections.
Yes, and the sources paint a lovely picture here. Things like homestays with local families, where you genuinely learn about daily life.
Right.
Or workshops. Imagine learning traditional arts and crafts directly from local artisans, pottery, weaving, maybe even something like traditional boat building.
Wow, that's specific.
It's about sharing skills, sharing culture, and creating these really memorable human connections that go beyond a simple transaction.
Hmm. And beyond the physical and cultural, there's also wellness.
Indeed, Greece has these amazing natural settings and ancient sites, so it makes sense. We're seeing more wellness retreats focused on yoga, meditation, often in incredibly serene locations.
Okay.
And even things like pilgrimages to ancient monasteries or temples, seeking a kind of spiritual healing or connection. It taps into rejuvenation, mind, body, spirit, connecting with a deeper sense of place.
It really feels like this multifaceted approach, this whole experiential tourism idea, has real potential to maybe revitalize some of these smaller island
Yeah, I
destinations.
think so.
It gives tourists a much richer, more authentic experience while actually helping to preserve these unique places and make tourism more sustainable. It sounds like a genuine win-win,
Yeah.
moving beyond just taking and towards a kind of mutual benefit.
That's the core idea, absolutely.
Okay, so if experiential tourism is shaping up to be the future, or at least a big part of it, what does this mean for Greek tourism more broadly? That old sun and sea model, the one that's defined Greek holidays for decades, it feels like it's changing, maybe becoming a bit outdated. Why is that?
Well, there's some pretty compelling evidence pointing that way. The European Travel Commission, the ETC, they've reported that Europeans are increasingly looking for quieter destinations.
Right.
They want experiences that offer something more than just a beach lounger. And you also see a growing focus on sustainable tourism in international education, suggesting travelers themselves are changing, looking for more purpose, more positive impact from their trips.
And Greece seems to be responding very actively to this shift.
Definitely. You see concrete initiatives like the Corfu Declaration for Sustainable Island Tourism that was signed in Lesbos, setting out a real framework for responsible development.
Okay.
There's a focus on strategic wine tourism in places like Santorini, using local products as a catalyst for a sustainable restart, linking economy and culture. And Thasos is apparently taking a really collaborative approach, planning its tourism future with the local community, making sure development aligns with local values. These aren't small tweaks. They feel like deliberate strategic moves.
Yeah, it's about more than just getting heads on beds. It's about building something resilient, something sustainable for the long term.
And it seems to be yielding results. Look at Kimolos, recognized globally for having some of the cleanest waters. That's a direct result of preservation efforts.
That's a great selling point.
Huge. And then Paros being named the #1 island destination in travel, plus Leisure's World's Best Awards for 2025.
Wow, number one.
Yeah. And these awards, they aren't just about bragging rights. Paris's success probably comes from that blend of authentic experiences and, crucially, thoughtful infrastructure. It shows that unspoiled beauty doesn't have to mean zero development. It means smart development that keeps the character but also meets what modern travelers need. It's a blueprint, really.
So, beyond the focus on sustainability and authenticity, the sources also point to a big push in other areas: connectivity, infrastructure, digital tools.
That's right. If you look at air travel, for instance, Asian is expanding its fleet, getting these new A321neo XLR aircraft. SKY Express is adding a new Airbus A320neo. They're extending flights from Thessaloniki, and they've partnered with Etihad for better island connections.
So making it easier to get to more places within Greece.
Exactly. Easier access, more options.
And airport development is moving forward too.
Yeah, the new Heraklion Airport in Castelli is apparently about 60% ready. Plus, the Hellenic Civil Aviation Authority, YPA, reported a pretty solid increase in passenger traffic and flights in the first half of 2025 across its airports. That suggests sustained growth in air travel right across the country.
Okay. And what about tech? How's that playing a role?
Well, things like Google AI mode could really change how tourism businesses market themselves, how they interact with potential visitors. And then there's the EUBI wallet, the European Union Digital Identity Wallet. That could potentially streamline travel quite a bit, making things like digital check-ins or even border crossings faster and smoother.
Right. Less friction.
And the overall projection. That travel technology could exceed something like $20 billion in turnover by 2032. That clearly shows a huge move towards digital integration across the entire sector. Travel is going to get easier, probably more personalized.
And this commitment seems to extend to the quality of the experience, safety, and preservation, too.
Yes, absolutely. On quality, INSET, that's the Greek Tourism Confederation's research arm, reports that Greece is actually leading in hotel customer satisfaction.
That's huge. Direct feedback from visitors saying they're having a good experience.
It's a massive vote of confidence, and safety measures are clearly being bolstered.
How so?
We're seeing collaborations like between the Ministry of Tourism and IOAS, the Road Safety Institute, focusing on, well, road safety. There are reports of fines being issued to see recreation businesses that aren't compliant.
Okay, holding operators accountable.
Right. And even things like a forest fire preparedness exercise in Mistras. These are proactive steps, trying to protect both the visitors and the environment they've come to enjoy.
And on the cultural side,
Yeah.
protecting the heritage.
Big steps there, too. The inclusion of the Minoan palaces on the UNESCO World Heritage List is significant. That's a major commitment.
Definitely.
Plus, there are active restoration projects happening like the St. Nicholas Fortress in Rhodes, and the Ministry of Culture is doing work on Basilica A in Philippi. These efforts don't just protect Greece's incredible history, they make it more accessible, more compelling for travelers who want that deeper connection.
And environmental protection is part of this picture as well.
Seems so. There's mention of a €400,000 project just for restoring the Cortaliotis Gorge, vital for biodiversity and natural beauty. And the development of the Aeneon Metropolitan Park in Attica shows a commitment to green spaces, even near urban centers. It's about safeguarding the natural beauty that draws so many people in the first place.
Of course, it can't all be smooth sailing. No sector is without challenges or, changing dynamics.
True. And the sources highlight a few interesting ones. One statistic really jumped out. Apparently, 9 million potential British tourists report that they don't know how to swim.
9 million, wow.
Yeah.
That's significant for a destination like Greece, so defined by its coastline and sea activities.
It really is, especially if the push is towards more active, water-based, experiential tourism. It raises real safety considerations.
Yeah, what does that imply?
Yeah.
Maybe needing clearer warnings, or maybe more lifeguards, or even basic swim clinics for tourists.
Could be any of those. Or perhaps just a greater emphasis on promoting the amazing cultural and land-based experiences as equally valid options. It kind of forces a rethink of the sea part of Sun and Sea for at least a segment of the market.
That's a really interesting point. And closer to home, there's a reported concern that rising inflation might actually be stopping many Greeks from taking holidays themselves.
Yeah, that highlights a potential economic pressure on the local population. You could end up with a situation where only visitors can fully enjoy what the country offers, which creates a kind of uncomfortable disparity.
And there are industry-level headwinds, too.
Seems so. The European airline industry is apparently pushing back against a proposed global solidarity tax on air transport.
Okay.
And ACI World, the airport's global body, has warned that new taxes on premium passengers could actually threaten connectivity. So these are broader economic pressures that could affect travel costs and accessibility for everyone.
Right. Things that could make flights more expensive or reduce routes.
Potentially. And even though the overall outlook seems positive, Booking.com apparently reported on problems that small accommodation providers are facing in Europe.
So the little guys might be struggling.
It suggests that growth isn't always easy for everyone, especially those smaller, often family-run businesses that are actually pretty crucial for delivering that authentic experiential tourism feel.
So, despite those challenges, there's a clear effort towards strategic coordination and promotion within the Greek tourism sector.
Yes, definitely. You see industry collaboration, like the renewal of collective agreements between the Hoteliers Federation, the Hoteliers Federation, STIANTEC, that helps ensure stability in the workforce.
Important.
And there are discussions happening between the main travel agency federations, FedHATA and HATA, about strategic moves, even things like digital client lists. It points towards a more cohesive, forward-thinking industry trying to work together.
And the marketing reflects this targeted approach, too.
It looks like it. EOT, the Greek National Tourism Organization, is doing things like press trips for French journalists, specifically promoting diverse regions like Attica and Lesbos, not just the usual suspects.
Diversification.
And in a really interesting move, they've collaborated with Netflix on new Greek tourism videos.
Oh, clever. Tapping into that huge global streaming audience.
Yeah, exactly. Showcasing different kinds of experiences, likely reaching people who might not see traditional tourism ads, and going beyond just the standard postcard images.
Okay, so pulling all this together, what's the big takeaway here? It feels like experiential tourism in Greece isn't just some niche trend. It's more like a fundamental shift, right?
I think that's fair to say. It's a transformative approach that's really reshaping how people might travel there. It holds the promise of richer, more authentic, and crucially, more sustainable ways to explore what is, let's face it, one of the world's most cherished destinations.
Yeah, absolutely. And the whole Greek tourism sector seems incredibly vibrant right now, constantly evolving. You see it being driven by innovation, by that commitment to sustainability, and by a really deep appreciation for the country's unique cultural and natural heritage. It's a dynamic space, adapting to new traveler desires while trying hard to protect its identity.
So, maybe a final thought for you, our listener. As you think about your own future travels, perhaps to Greece or elsewhere, how might shifting your focus change things? Moving from just seeing a place to truly experiencing it, how could that transform your own understanding, maybe even your impact on the destinations you visit?